A sparrow flew in the window. I'm Snuffanybody. This is the McFeagle Show. This is the 25-gram tin of Dholakia's Sparrow Snuff. Here's the snuff itself. Very light, pale brown. Very, very fine in grind. Doesn't look to have much moisture, but not as dry as a white. Looks about the same as an American Scotch. This is going to be very challenging sniff. That is quite an intimidating snuff to look at, but let's see what we can do with it. The tin note. Sort of perfumey, but it's a bit like the sort of perfume you get when you initially open a tin of talcum powder. It lingers. And I can't tell you what this scent is. But there is also a very slight hint of leather, earthy tobacco. I'm getting very, very subtle hints of something coffee, chocolatey-ish. Even though I'm certain those scents aren't added. These comes from the way the tobacco has been fabricated, manufactured. Yeah. I will have a little pinch. Well, this burns very, very much. Ooh. Oh, I had a couple of pinches this week, but I didn't remember it burning nearly this much. But it does give you a quickening sensation of nicotine. Even with that little tiny pinch I had there. But it is very dry, it's very, very fine. It's hard to have a pinch of that you don't get a throat or lung hit. In the nose you don't get that perfumey talcum powder. You get something much more earthy. With something that reminds me very, very slightly of jasmine. Very slightly. It's marketed as a plain snuff. It should be marketed as Indian White's slightly browner cousin. It has the same difficulty in the pinch as an Indian White. It has sort of the same nicotine kick. It has a bit more flavor, even though it is sort of a dusty, earthy, very slightly leathery scent in the nose. There is something to say, if you really look for scent in the background of your snuff, I would say yes, there is something that reminds me of chocolatey, coffee-ish things. I like the snuff. It's very, very hard to take. The learning curve of this snuff is very, very steep. So that draws down a mark from it. I think this could have had a much more enriched scent if the moisture was higher. I think you would be able to enjoy the scent that are in here a lot more if you could take bigger pinches more often. But maybe that's not the intent of it. I'm going to give it 3.5 out of 5. But on nicotine, I'm going to give it 7, maybe 8 out of 10. This is a really strong nicotine snuff. So if you're looking for something that really gives you oomph, like the Indian Whites, you should try this. That's Dholakia's Indian Sparrow. Goodbye. Oh, I forgot to say, there is a trick to the Indian Whites that works with the Sparrow as well. If you by any chance have a glass of water near you, right before you have a pinch, just dip your fingers in the water, just so the fingertips are wet. Have a pinch of that. Just slightly moisten up your nose. That will give the very fine snuff something to cling to.